6 keen amateur cooks ready to show off their skills and determined to impress our judges. This is Britain's Best Dish 2010.
Finally, there's no shortage of indulgence in the pudding kitchen, where a trio of desserts with raspberries and fragrant poached pears battles it out against a blackberry creme brulee with honeycomb sugar crackling and biscuits.
Meet our contestants.
My name is Gareth Kyle, and I'm making a trio of desserts with raspberries and poached pears. I'm not a flash cook. I don't like my dishes and my cooking to be, you know, all fur coat, no knickers sort of thing. So it's got to have the content, it's got to have technical ability to it, and just using good ingredients.
From our north of England cooks are Gareth and his trio of desserts with raspberries and fragrant poached pears, and Rachel with her blackberry creme brulee with honeycomb sugar crackling and biscuits.
Now, where's all this food interest of yours come from? Just cooking for the girls?
Yeah, well, you know, when I was younger, it's always good to impress the ladies, you know, get the pots and pans out and make a mess.
Good luck today.
Thank you, Mark.
Against Rachel. You're a Imelda Marcus in your private life, are you?
I love shoes. I have a shoe addiction. It's crazy.
So if you win all this money, say you go all the way in this competition, you won big bucks, you would spend it on shoes?
I would. I would spend every penny on shoes.
What can you say?
What can you say?
What can you say? Other than go hard, because there's a place in the regional final at stake. Start cooking.
27-year-old Gareth will need to take special care today with his crucial nut brittle.
What I'm a bit worried about is getting the brittle right. You've got a small margin of error with boiling the sugar and turning it out. I don't want it to be too thick.
The brittle will go with the first of the trio, pears poached in rose water and mead, a honey wine that has been drunk in Britain since Celtic times.
Mead, it's a very ancient honey-based. It was really the very, very first British booze, mead.
While the pears simmer, he begins the nut brittle by melting sugar and butter in a heavy saucepan.
Now, we've got a sugar thermometer by the look of it.
It's the first time we've seen a saccharometer on this show, I think, for a long time, and really handy little bits of kit to have.
He adds smashed walnuts and hazelnuts, then lemon zest. Gareth wants the nutty caramel mix to have a light honeycomb texture, so he adds bicarbonate of soda.
And there's
I've never seen that before.
To try and make it
bicarbonate of soda in peanut.
To make it go into
that's a sort of a honeycomb now.
Honeycomb thing.
The nut brittle is cut into shapes and layered onto the pears with vanilla cream. Next, part 2 of the trio, he melts raspberry and rose-flavoured chocolate with double cream, then layers with Italian meringue, raspberry coulis and more cream.
I think that Gareth uses his conjuring tricks in the kitchen to impress girls.
And then what do you think he does?
It depends how impressed the girl is, I think.
The final element is his macaroon, boozy cocktail made with raspberry, almond and chocolate liqueurs. 31-year-old Rachel has chosen a dish which she's convinced has all the right ingredients.
This is a winning dish. I think it's something that the judges are looking for. It's very good, honest, clean food, a little bit naughty with the honeycomb and all of that cream in there. It's definitely got the winning taste to it.
She starts by making custard, then scrapes the seeds out of some vanilla pods and adds them to warm cream. And already her dish has got the judges thinking.
Rachel's putting her blackberry compote into the base of these little glass ramekins. Now, there's a lot of juice in the compote, and when you make a creme brulee, to get that over the top of the fruit so it's clear and none of the juice has gone into the creme will be very, very difficult. She's got to be very careful with this.
She combines the vanilla-infused cream with whisked eggs and sugar, then very carefully pours the mixture onto the stewed blackberries.
But have you look at this. Now, watch this creme brulee. So you've got to be very gentle with this, because otherwise you'll mix up all the blackberry juice into the creme brulee.
I think I can see it already mixed, to be truthful.
It's not too bad, actually.
The juice in the blackberry, the acidity of the juice might affect the actual eggs in the brulee. Either split it so you get a kind of cottage cheese type texture rather than a completely smooth brulee.
For an extra flourish, Rachel is also making honeycomb, which will top her brulees. She heats sugar, water and honey from her own bees, then adds bicarbonate of soda.
Brilliant, that was brilliant. So that's the honeycomb. This is going on top of the creme brulees. Yeah, that's perfect. Look at the aeration, all the bubbles exploding.
The honeycomb is left to cool and hopefully crisp up, so she completes the dish with some biscuits made from just 5 simple ingredients: flour, butter, sugar, vanilla and eggs.
There are the creme brulees. They've just come out. They've set nicely. There's a little bit of colour on one and a couple of bubbles, but it looks all right.
Coming up, which dessert does a disappearing act?
You put them in your mouth and they just fizz away. You don't have to even chew them. They're absolutely marvellous.
You pop them in your mouth and they just pop and disappear.
Welcome back. Very soon we'll find out which 3 of our 6 amateur cooks reach Friday's regional final, and therefore, of course, are a step closer to winning Britain's best dish. Ready?
Ready.
You better serve this up.
Gareth has gone all out to impress with an extravagant combination, but has he got the substance to underpin his style? Has the nut brittle set to provide the perfect topping for his carefully constructed creamy desserts, filled with juicy raspberries and fragrant poached pears? Or can Rachel make it to the regional final? Will her unusual creme brulee set despite the addition of the stewed blackberries? And what will the judges make of her crunchy honeycomb sugar crackling and her crisp light biscuits?
Well, the first thing we should do is congratulate both cooks on the presentation. First to this incredible arrangement.
I think my dish might just have the edge on Rachel's.
Fire away, John.
There's some really clever combinations here. This honeycomb brittle with the hazelnuts works so well with the pears and the raspberry. Over here, you've got the raspberries with the more cream and then that Italian meringue, which is made with cooked sugar, so it's like a marshmallow. That works too. I'm not sure for me about these melted, bought-in chocolates with the rose water. I think that's probably a taste too far. And then you've got this chap here, and we all love a bit of booze, don't we? So I have to say that this is a lovely dessert.
Excellent. Jilly?
Well, Gareth there was out to impress the ladies, and he certainly impressed me, I can tell you. I really like this. It's delicious. This little thing that he calls a macaroon, and I see exactly what he means, because amaretto, of course, has a very almondy flavour, is delicious. It's got the raspberry concentrate in the bottom that he cooked, and then it's got the booze on top. Really lovely. I agree with John that the textures work terribly well on his pear confection. The flavours work terribly well. And this little meringue thing is lovely too. I don't even have any objection to the chocolate. Well done, Gareth.
Beautifully summed up, Jilly. Thank you. Ed?
Raspberries, cream, meringue. What a wonderful combination. It doesn't need chocolate in there, but apart from that, it all really works.
Lovely. All right. To a creme brulee.
I was definitely a little bit scared when I saw my next-door neighbour plating up there. His dish looked fantastic, but I know that mine has got the flavour and it's very classic. It's not over the top.
Jilly, start us off.
There are always surprises to be had on Britain's Best Dish. Good and disappointing. And here, for me, this is a bit of a disappointment. I'm not so keen on the custardy thing. It seems to me to be too eggy, and the texture is a little bit unformed.
Thank you. Ed?
Yeah, it had every opportunity of being a wonderful, wonderful dessert, this one. I mean, the biscuits are magnificent. For me, I think they're absolutely wonderful. You couldn't put them in a packet and vend them because they're just too light and too delicate. You pop them in your mouth and they just pop and disappear.
Thank you very much. John?
Right, there are faults with this. You've got not enough sugar in the compote with the blackberries, so that they haven't been coated, so they're now giving up their juice, which will attack the protein in the eggs. But I love the brulee. I think it's a lovely dish. I really like it. And the biscuits are second to none. You put them in your mouth and they just fizz away. You don't have to even chew them. They're absolutely marvellous. I love it.
Great. Rachel's back in the game with those words from John. Another fascinating contest. The judges are off now to make up their mind.
Gareth was out to impress the ladies, and he certainly impressed me, I can tell you. I really like this. It's delicious.
The biscuits are second to none. You put them in your mouth and they just fizz away. Absolutely marvellous.
We've had quite a ride on Best Dish today. Now, the judges are ready with their decisions. Let's see who goes through to this week's Friday final. We now move on to today's puddings. Will it be Gareth's trio of desserts or Rachel's blackberry creme brulee? The winning pudding is... Rachel's creme brulee. John.
Rachel, well done. Absolutely delicious. I mean, there's one of the things you could do to improve the texture of the creme brulee, but those biscuits were sensational. Gareth, on the other hand, let me say this was very close today. It was honestly very, very close, right down the line. You did a great effort, so thank you very much for showing us your dessert as well. Thank you.
Fabulous day. I mean, a bit of a roller coaster in a way. Thank you to our competitors for the hard work that they brought to our kitchen. Sadly, of course, not all can go through, and it's now that we say goodbye to the three of you that haven't.